everybody, welcome back to the TokenPants channel. We have another movie review for you today. Tonight I saw Transformers: The Last Knight. This is the 5th entry in the Transformers series. As always, I'm Chris, a Token Hero. Welcome to the channel if you're new. If you are new, how we do it is we tell you a brief kind of what we felt about the movie. Is it good or is it not? Should you go see it? Should you waste money on it? Should you stay home and wait for it on video? Or download, and then we go into spoilers. I put a big spoiler warning up, and then we'll go into spoilers and try to break down the movie and what the problems or good things about it were. That being said, non-spoiler, don't waste your money on it. It's pretty terrible. I'm sure kids will like it. However, I maybe not. I felt it was super dragging and super slow at parts. Overall, a bad movie. It was just as bad as the last one, Part 4, Age of Extinction, or whatever it was. Skip it. Now here you go. Spoiler time. Spoilers. Okay, so let's get into this. This movie should have been called Transformers: Random Shit Just Happens. Or Transformers: Absolutely Insane. Asterix? Not in a good way. Or Transformers: Nothing Makes Sense. Because nothing does. Shit just happens in this movie. Nothing makes sense. To give you an example, Bumblebee in this movie has a fantastic new ability. He can blow apart into hundreds of pieces, and all of the pieces will suck back together again and he'll be fine. He can just suck himself back together again. Like, what? What the Oh, man, this movie. I'll be honest with you. I love Transformers 1. I loved it. Transformers 2, I thought was pretty good. Transformers 3, I thought was terrible. Transformers 4 was like a new low in sequels. Like it, oh man, it was bad. Transformers 5 is like equally as bad as 4, but in different ways. 1, the editing was awful. What I mean is, you ever watch a movie and say like your girlfriend, kid, dog hits the remote control and it changes the channel, like at home, you change the channel, or maybe you go out to go to the bathroom or something like that, right? You come back and it seems like you missed something because it's further in the story than when you left, right? Example, Decepticons are driving, right? They're headed to a junkyard where the Autobots are. So the last thing you see is Decepticons driving towards the junkyard, right? And then the good guys seeing somebody's coming and they're like, oh, we better do something. So you go to the bathroom, you come back, and all of a sudden you see Megatron fully transform into battle mode, holding Starscream's head and talking to Starscream. And he's in the junkyard, and the Autobots nowhere to be found. Now, if you came back from the bathroom of that scene, you'd be like, oh shit, I fucking missed something. God damn it. Or if your channel got changed, you're like, goddamn kids, changed, now I missed something, shit. Except you didn't. Because that's how the editing goes in this movie. It'll show things like that where like, oh, here come the Decepticons. Oh no, the Decepticons are coming. We better get ready to get out of here. The very next scene is the good guys already driving and Megatron already transformed, holding a head like, what's it? It's like, what happened? What was the middle part to that? What happened? Like, they just are just all of a sudden there? That happens most of the time in this movie, where it seems like the editor took the middle parts out of scenes and slammed them together. I don't know whether it was for time or maybe it was budget constraints. They couldn't show too many transforming sequences or too many I don't know, but it was really bad. And you always felt like you blinked or maybe fell asleep for half a second because you missed something. That's how everything linked up. It didn't make sense. I will say a lot of the things in the movie, a lot of the CG sequences looked really good. But then there was a handful that did not. There's also a bunch of action sequences where you clearly saw the strings and the wire harnesses on the actors, the human actors, which, I don't know about you guys, but it takes me out of the film entirely. Besides that, going back to what I said about the title, things just happen. The plot gets moved along just because. The characters will just bump into each other or just find something or just touch something. Like, there's a character in the movie who, within the process of, I would say, 3 hours, is told that they have to save the world. And in the process of doing that, I have to do nutball shit. Like, they throw her into a submarine. They throw her out of a plane. They tell her she's going to have to jump. They tell her she has to do the most insane things, and she's just on board from jump. She's just like, okay, if I gotta. Like, what? Like, things are exploding everywhere. And she's just fine. There's another new character in the movie, a little girl, who seems very shoehorned in. It seems like they were trying to capture the kid market and make something relatable for them. But she is introduced at the beginning of the movie, then eliminated for most of the middle of the movie, and then brought back right at the end of the movie. And does nothing, by the way. She's just there to be a kid. She was very annoying to watch. And I don't think it was her fault as an actor. It was the direction, clearly. Which brings me to my next point. Her character was supposed to be this badass kid, this loner rebel kid who was super badass. But like everything in this movie, they don't do it subtly and have the audience come to the conclusion that, oh my god, this was badass. Like, so good. So they kept telling you it was badass. There was these long looks at the camera and these dialogue lines that were like, as far as I'm concerned, he's my boyfriend, you. Like, that's an exact line from the movie and almost delivered in the exact same way. It was very over the top. It was very nonsensical. Every line was like, look how badass he is, or look how dope this is. And it's like, it achieves the opposite effect. When you do that constantly throughout the movie, it's just like, okay, really? Like, what? Okay, I guess. In line with that, there was a bunch of scenes where they chose to do comedy, right? Some funny dialogue lines and the guys talking back and forth. But it seemed like, in a normal movie, when actors or even CGI creations or whatever, they're talking to each other, right? There's a give and take, a back and forth. A dialogue banter that you can tell this person is listening and this person is responding to what this person is saying correctly, right? In this movie, it's like everyone yells their dialogue at each other and it doesn't match what everyone else is saying, right? Like, Mark Wahlberg's character will start talking about something, and then John Goodman's character, the Transformer character, I forget what his name is, he'll just start talking and spouting random nonsense. And then somebody else will spout random nonsense. And then Mark Wahlberg will try to shoot some funny line. And none of it goes together. And you're just sitting there like, why is this happening? There's a lot of scenes like that where they're aiming for comedy so hard that they end up just seeming like they're just saying random things that don't fit the moment. Like the moment something serious is happening or something world-ending is happening, and the dialogue that they're saying in these scenes just doesn't fit at all. It's like a 4-year-old wrote it. In line with the overall gravitas of the movie, the danger level, the world is pretty much ending at the end of the movie. And something happens, I mean, I don't want to ruin it for you guys, but something happens where if this were to happen in real life, the planet would have been done instantaneously. Like, something happens that you're like, what? Okay. Man, it just didn't make sense. I don't want to ruin it for you guys, but when you see it, you'll know what I mean. And overall, the plot of the story was terrible because it was the same thing as every Transformers. Bad guy needs to get X item, and if a bad guy gets X item, it's the end of the world for the humans. It's the end of us, okay? Every Transformers movie did that. We had the Allspark, and then the second movie, or then it was like the Cube in the first movie. Then on the third movie, it was, I think, some kind of staff, I think, maybe? But regardless, every movie was about the same thing, keeping this crazy item away from the bad guys. And this movie was not different. It was keep the said item away from the bad guys because it's going to destroy the world. Optimus Prime made speeches throughout the movie. Again, he was only in at the beginning and then at the end. But as soon as he shows up at the end, he just kept making speeches. And it's the same speech you've heard every Transformers movie. Where even towards he ends the movie and he's like, the humans are more than meets the eye. So what you did there, more than meets the eye, like, you know, the toys. The speech he does is so lame. And everyone gathers around him like he's this... It's so frustrating to watch because I really do think Transformers 1 was so good. And they had some place to go. It was something new. It was something fresh. And Michael Bay is just running this into the goddamn ground. There's reports that he has 7 more films lined up. He wants to cross it over with the G.I. Joe universe. It's just terrible. The action sequences are bad. They're like a afterthought. Everything's focused on the human actors. And the battle scenes are almost always in the background. And it's always people rolling. It's rolling and shooting. And then blocking. You never get to see a true action sequence with just the Transformers. It's always these slow moments where it's just like in the background, then you get like a close-up slow-mo shot, and then that's it. Speaking of slow-mo, Michael Bay is such a fan of slow-mo. Such a fan. He used a couple of his shots that he used in Bad Boys, his favorite shots. It was the classic where Mark Wahlberg's taking off something and he drops it and he puts his hands up. It is all in slow motion and the camera's from here shooting upwards and it's circling around him. I'm like, oh, Bad Boy shot. Awesome. I really think Michael Bay is just... Oh, man. Like, 'cause I like some of his movies. I like Bad Boys. I like some of his movies. But, I don't know, man. He's falling far. I think maybe, I don't know, his sequels, I don't know. He just... Man, it's terrible. It's just terrible. I could probably talk about this movie for another 30 minutes. For real. Not fun. It feels like a chore to watch. You get frustrated watching it because, like I said, things just start happening. Nothing makes sense. Also, you know, before I let it go, another thing they did was they retconned. And if you don't know what retconning means, it means they changed the history of the movies of Transformers. What I mean by that is in the first movie, you learn that the Transformers pretty recently got there. Bumblebee and Optimus Prime and everything, they just pretty much crash landed pretty recently. And they escaped Cybertron or whatever. In this movie, they tell you that the Transformers have been on the planet since the Dark Ages. Which they kind of show you in Transformers 4, where the old dinosaur ship crashed. But it was the dinosaur ones. It wasn't the actual Transformers we know. In this movie, they clearly say, and then go to show you, like, they say Bumblebee has been around since, like, World War I. They even show you Bumblebee fighting Nazis in World War II. Nazis in World War II. I mean, full on lighting Nazis up in World War II. Like they try to show it like Transformers have been helping humanity win wars and fight evil throughout history. But no one's ever seen them before. Up until this, in the previous movies, No one's recognized the Transformer. No one. There's no documents. There's no nothing. In this movie, there's pictures and there's like group shots of like people in a war and the Transformers in the background, and he's just like, eh. This movie is terrible. It's terrible. Please don't give your money to it. Go see something else. Go see Wonder Woman again. Movie's fantastic. I would see The Mummy over this. The Mummy is not great, but at least it's something different. Transformers is just bad from start to finish. It's not good. I should say the bright part of the movie was Anthony Hopkins. Fantastic actor, delivered his lines perfectly, and like he had a lot of funny lines. Again, I didn't match the situations half the time, but they were funny. So anyways, that's my review for Transformers: The Last Night. Absolute garbage. Please like it if you like this video. Please hit the like button. Subscribe below. Hit the little bell for the notifications for our next reviews and things like that. We got some more reviews coming in the future. We have Baby Driver. I'll be putting up tomorrow. We'll have a Resident Evil Vendetta, which is a CGI animated movie coming up. So yeah, please stick around, like and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.